Introduction: the invisible manual. Every single day, you wake up and immediately start using your brain. You use it to think, to plan, to worry, to dream, to scroll, to learn, to remember, and to decide who you are becoming. Yet no one ever gave you instructions for it. When it fails to focus, you blame yourself. When motivation disappears, you call yourself lazy. When you forget things or feel overwhelmed, you think something is wrong with you. But what if nothing is wrong? What if you've simply been using the most powerful machine in existence without knowing its rules? Brain Rules by neuroscientist Dr. John Medina is not written like a boring science book. It feels more like a warning and a guide combined. It tells us that the brain follows strict biological laws shaped by millions of years of evolution. You cannot shame your brain into performing better. You cannot force it to work against its design. But once you understand how it truly works, everything changes. Learning becomes easier. Focus becomes sharper. Life becomes less exhausting. This video is not just a summary, it's an awakening. And if you stay till the end, you might realize that the life you want is not far away. It's just on the other side of understanding your own mind. Chapter 1: The brain was built to move. Your brain was never meant to live a sedentary life. Long before modern civilization, humans survived by moving constantly. Walking long distances, hunting for food, climbing, running, and escaping danger were daily activities. The brain evolved in a world where movement was survival. That history is still coded inside you. When you sit for long hours, staring at screens, your brain doesn't see productivity, it sees danger. It slows down, becomes foggy, and loses energy. Exercise is not about aesthetics. It is about intelligence. When you move your body, blood flow increases to the brain, oxygen levels rise, and chemicals are released that help neurons grow and connect. Studies consistently show that people who exercise regularly perform better in memory, focus, and problem-solving. Movement literally sharpens your mind. If you ever feel mentally stuck, unmotivated, or slow, it might not be a discipline problem. It might be a movement problem. A short walk can sometimes do more for your brain than another hour of forced studying. Chapter 2: The myth of multitasking. We live in a world that celebrates doing everything at once. Studying while scrolling, working while listening to videos, responding to messages while thinking you're focused. Multitasking feels productive, but neuroscience tells a brutal truth: the brain cannot multitask. It can only switch between tasks, and each switch comes at a cost. Accuracy drops, speed decreases, mental fatigue increases. Every notification steals attention. Every distraction fractures focus. Over time, your brain becomes trained to avoid depth. You start struggling to concentrate even when you want to. This isn't because you're weak. It's because your brain has adapted to constant switching. True productivity doesn't come from doing more things at once. It comes from giving your full attention to one thing that matters. Focus is not a talent. It is a skill you protect. Chapter 3: Attention has a time limit. Your brain was designed to conserve energy. It doesn't like wasting resources on long, boring tasks. Research shows that attention peaks for a short period, often around 10 minutes before it starts to decline. This is why long lectures feel unbearable and why you zone out even when you care about the topic. Your brain is not failing you. It's asking for variation. Learning works best when information is broken into chunks, when the pace changes, and when the brain is allowed to reset. Short breaks, changes in tone, movement, or emotion can restore attention. The problem with modern learning is not intelligence, it's design. When you work with your brain's natural rhythm instead of fighting it, focus stops feeling painful and starts feeling natural. Chapter 4: Emotion is the gateway to memory. Think about your strongest memories. They are not random facts. They are moments filled with emotion, happiness, fear, embarrassment, pride, or loss. Your brain remembers emotionally charged experiences because emotion signals importance. Information without emotion feels meaningless to the brain, so it lets it fade. This is why storytelling is powerful. It wraps information in emotion. If you want to remember something, you must connect it to meaning. Ask why it matters. Connect it to your life. Turn facts into stories. When learning feels boring, it's not because you're incapable, it's because your brain doesn't feel involved. Emotion is not a weakness. It is the gateway to memory. Chapter 5. Stress is silently killing your potential. Stress is often misunderstood. A little stress can sharpen focus and push performance, but chronic stress does the opposite. When stress becomes constant, your brain shifts into survival mode. Learning shuts down. Creativity disappears. Emotional reactions become stronger. Memory weakens. Many young people live under nonstop pressure: exams, expectations, comparisons, financial fears, and social media validation. Over time, this stress quietly damages the brain's ability to perform. Rest becomes rare. Calm feels guilty, but your brain needs safety to grow. Protecting your mental health is not avoiding responsibility. It is preparing yourself for a longer, stronger future. Chapter 6. Sleep is not a luxury. Sleep is one of the most misunderstood aspects of success. Many people see it as wasted time. In reality, sleep is when your brain does its most important work. While you sleep, your brain organizes memories, strengthens learning, and clears harmful waste products. Without sleep, new information struggles to stick. One night of poor sleep can affect focus, mood, and decision-making the next day. Chronic sleep deprivation slowly erodes intelligence. Hustle culture glorifies sleeplessness, but neuroscience exposes it as self-destruction. If you want a sharper mind, better emotional control, and stronger learning ability, sleep must be protected like an investment, not sacrificed like a weakness. Chapter 7. Your brain craves meaning. Your brain is not motivated by pressure alone. It is motivated by purpose. Deep inside, your mind is constantly asking a quiet but powerful question: why does this matter? When there is no answer, energy disappears, focus fades. Even simple tasks feel heavy. This is why so many people feel exhausted, not because they are doing too much, but because what they are doing feels empty. The brain resists effort that feels pointless, no matter how disciplined you try to be. From an evolutionary perspective, this makes sense. For thousands of years, the brain learned to conserve energy for things that mattered for survival: food, safety, connection, growth. Wasting energy on meaningless effort could cost a life. That same mechanism still exists in you today. When your studies, work, or daily routines feel disconnected from your future, your brain quietly pulls the brakes. Procrastination is often not laziness. It is the brain saying, "I don't see the value here." This is why external motivation fades so quickly. Grades, money, approval, likes, and comparisons can push you for a while, but they rarely sustain long-term effort. The brain doesn't attach deeply to goals that don't feel personal. True motivation comes when a task is linked to identity, who you want to become, not just what you want to achieve. When your brain sees a connection between today's effort and tomorrow's self, it releases focus, persistence, and drive. Meaning also transforms struggle. When pain feels purposeful, the brain tolerates it better. Athletes endure intense training not because it's easy, but because it leads somewhere meaningful. Students who understand how learning connects to their future feel less resistance. When your brain understands why, the how becomes easier. Effort stops feeling like punishment and starts feeling like progress. This is why goal setting matters, but not in a superficial way. Writing goals that don't emotionally resonate won't move your brain. You must translate goals into stories your brain understands. Instead of saying, "I want to be successful," ask, "Who do I want to become?" Instead of saying, "I need to study," ask, "What kind of future does this effort build?" When goals are connected to values, the brain engages naturally. Meaning is also deeply connected to autonomy. The brain resists feeling controlled but thrives when it feels ownership. When you choose your path, even difficult work feels lighter. When everything feels forced, even simple tasks feel unbearable. This is why creating your own reasons matters more than following someone else's expectations. Your brain doesn't work for pressure. It works for a purpose. Understanding this rule changes how you approach life. You stop trying to force motivation and start searching for meaning. You stop judging yourself for resistance and start listening to it. When you align your daily actions with something that truly matters to you, motivation stops being something you chase. It becomes something that follows you naturally. Chapter 8. We are wired for connection. Human beings were never meant to grow alone. Long before cities, careers, and social media, Survival depended on community. Our ancestors lived in groups because connection meant protection, shared knowledge, and emotional safety. The brain evolved in this environment, and that design still lives inside us. This is why connection feels natural and isolation feels heavy. When we are surrounded by people who understand us, our brain feels safe. When we are alone for too long, it begins to struggle in ways we often don't notice at first. Connection is not just emotional comfort, it is biological support. When we feel socially connected, stress levels decrease, emotional regulation improves, and learning becomes easier. The brain releases chemicals that promote trust, calm, and resilience. On the other hand, loneliness activates the same regions of the brain as physical pain. Prolonged isolation increases anxiety, weakens focus, and slowly drains motivation. Many people try to fix these feelings with productivity or distractions, without realizing that what their brain truly needs is human connection. In a world filled with digital interaction, it's easy to mistake constant communication for real connection. Scrolling through posts, watching stories, or exchanging short messages can create the illusion of belonging, but the brain craves something deeper. It needs presence, understanding, and emotional exchange. Even one genuine conversation can calm the nervous system more than hours of online noise. The brain doesn't measure connection by numbers. It measures it by meaning. Growth becomes easier when you are not alone. Encouragement strengthens confidence. Support reduces fear. Being around people who believe in you helps your brain believe in itself. This doesn't mean you need a large circle. It means you need the right one. The brain grows best in environments where it feels seen, valued, and supported. You don't become strong by isolating yourself from the world. You become strong by learning how to grow within it. Chapter 9. Your brain can chain. Your brain is not fixed. It is plastic. It reshapes itself based on what you repeatedly do, think, and feel. Every habit strengthens a pathway. Every repetition makes an action easier. Bad habits are not proof of weakness. They are evidence of adaptation. Change does not happen instantly. It happens quietly through consistency. Small actions repeated daily rewire the brain over time. You are not stuck with who you are today. Your brain is always becoming something new, and that means your future is still open. Chapter 10. Stop fighting your brain. The biggest lesson of brain rules is simple but powerful. Your brain is not your enemy. When you fight it with unrealistic expectations, constant pressure, and neglect, it resists. When you respect its rules, it rewards you with clarity, focus, and growth. Intelligence is not about talent. It is about conditions. When your brain is supported with movement, rest, focus, meaning, and connection, it thrives naturally. Success stops feeling forced and starts feeling aligned. Conclusion: design your life with intention. Understanding your brain changes the way you see yourself. You stop treating your struggles as personal failures and start recognizing them as biological signals. Lack of focus is no longer proof that you are weak. Burnout is no longer a sign that you are incapable. They are messages from your brain asking for alignment, not punishment. When you learn the rules your brain follows, self-blame fades and self-awareness grows. You begin to work with your mind instead of constantly fighting against it. Once you understand these rules, your daily choices begin to change. You move more, rest better, focus deeper, and seek meaning instead of pressure. You design your environment to support your brain rather than expecting discipline alone to carry you forward. Progress becomes sustainable instead of exhausting. Growth feels intentional instead of chaotic. Life no longer feels like a race you are losing, but a system you are learning to master. The most powerful realization is this: you are not behind. You were simply never taught how to use your mind properly. Now you know. And that knowledge gives you responsibility not to be perfect, but to be aware. When you respect your brain, it rewards you with clarity, resilience, and direction. From this moment forward, you don't just live life on autopilot. You design it thoughtfully, consciously, and with purpose.